I kind of wonder, as far as how this investigation has continued to proceed with the things that we know, as far as if they actually should go back to the museum. Hello fellow Aussians and welcome to the channel. In a previous video, we discussed the stolen ruby slippers and Minnesota's interest in purchasing them. Well, things have definitely heated up since that video, and the state of Minnesota's interest has definitely started to escalate. I've got another news article for y'all. This one is from the Smithsonian. The Judy Garland Museum wants to buy Dorothy's ruby slippers. Officials hope to raise millions to bid on the shoes, which were missing for over a decade, at auction in December. According to the Judy Garland Museum, there's no place like home for the legendary ruby red slippers that the actress wore in The Wizard of Oz. That's why the museum, located in Garland's childhood home, is raising money to buy the iconic shoes at auction in December. If the campaign is successful, it would be a homecoming for the dazzling slippers, which were on display at the Grand Rapids, Minnesota Museum until 2005, when a burglar broke in through one of the museum's windows, smashing the plexiglass display case, and made off with the iconic shoes. The FBI recovered the stolen slippers in 2018 and returned them to their owner, Michael Shaw, a collector who had loaned them to the museum before the robbery. On December 7th, Heritage Auctions will sell the slippers on Shaw's behalf. The executive director of the Judy Garland Museum tells the New York Times, Michael Levison, that she wants the shoes to be part of the museum's permanent collection. It would be a Hollywood happy ending to this ruby slippers saga, she says. This would be a good final home for them, which is what Dorothy was searching for in The Wizard of Oz, so it's a full circle story for the slippers. To make that full circle story a reality, the museum might need to raise $3.5 million, the FBI's estimated value of the shoes. Heritage Auctions has not yet set a price for the opening bid, per the Times. Ahead of the auction, the shoes will go on tour through Tokyo, New York, London, and Dallas. They could sell for $1 million, they could sell for $10 million. The auction house's executive vice president tells Minnesota Public Radio's Dana Ferguson they're priceless. In the meantime, the museum will be engaged in a fundraising campaign that began last week at Grand Rapids' annual Judy Garland Festival, as the Times reports. The event included a 5-kilometer race called the Dash for the Ruby Slippers. The Minnesota legislature has approved a $100,000 contribution to the effort, which is supported by the state's governor, Tim Walz. We're buying Judy Garland's damn slippers to make sure they remain safe at home in Grand Rapids, on display for all to enjoy, under 24/7 Ocean's 11 proof security, said the governor in a recent social media post. So, okay, there's a couple things to unpack in that. Probably the biggest one is the idea of the ruby slippers going back to the Judy Garland Museum where they were first stolen from back in 2005. I kind of wonder, as far as how this investigation has continued to proceed with the things that we know, as far as if they actually should go back to the museum. And what I mean by that is that, do you think their security would actually, be able to, not have them get stolen again? Considering we know that there are people out there who literally could think that the ruby slippers have real rubies on them. Because that's what the thief thought. So exactly how much more money would the museum need to raise to be able to get their security to be even better than what it currently is, to be able to make sure the slippers are safe? That's a really good question. For those of you that are interested in seeing the state legislator's bill for the ruby slippers, I have linked that down below. You can actually track the progress on that bill. And it hasn't gone that far as of the recording of this video, but you can check the website for more updates. The Judy Garland Museum never really bounced back from the theft, which took place 2 years after the museum opened. Heights told the Washington Post earlier this year nobody was going to loan their Judy Garland memorabilia to us anymore. And so I think there were just a lot of opportunities that we missed out on. Now, the museum hopes the opportunity to get the slippers back in December won't pass them by. Our goal is to get the word out to the world that we need them. John Kelsch, director of the Judy Garland Museum at the time of the robbery, tells Minnesota Public Radio, "They belong here." And that's kind of the question that I have about the slippers, even though they were stolen from the museum. They technically weren't owned by the museum. They were owned by Michael Shaw, who had loaned them to the museum. Do they actually deserve to be in the museum that they were stolen from? I'm going to leave that question out to y'all. And if they do you think the museum would actually be able to stop another theft of those slippers happening? I think that's a pretty good question. It will be interesting in December to see exactly what happens with this ruby slipper auction, since we haven't seen one of these in quite a while. And these particular slippers have never been put up for auction. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how the story develops. And if you liked that video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below, and subscribe. New videos are posted every 2 weeks on the 15th and last day of each month. And if that doesn't satisfy your appetite for Oz, follow the link in the description to ozclub.org and join the International Wizard of Oz Club. Until next time, bye y'all.